You ever forgotten something really important? You know, like where you put something or maybe a friend's birthday, but your mind is playing tricks on you. It just won't quit. It taunts you with bits and pieces of what you've misplaced, but never enough to jog your memory. It's frustrating and it's kind of scary. How much of our past do we actually remember? What if someone came along and took bits and pieces of our lives and scrambled them up? Well, that's what happened to me. I'm not sure how it happened or why, but my memories have been taken from me. I don't know who I am, and now I need to find out. And with each piece of the puzzle that I recover, I become more and more certain that I was the villain in my own story. It all started when I woke up in a hospital bed. The first thing I saw was a woman with fiery red hair crying over me. "You're awake," she cried out, reaching for my hand. I was so worried. The doctor said there was no change in your vitals. He said you might not wake up. She pauses to take a deep breath, trying to calm herself down. Who are you?" I asked, my voice raspy from disuse. She pulled away from me, startled by my question. "What?" "Why, I'm your sister, Lily. Don't you remember?" I shook my head. "I'm sorry, I don't." She looked down at her lap, tears welling up in her eyes. "How could you not remember? You were in an accident. You were hit by a car. Do you remember nothing?" I thought hard, racking my brain, but everything was dark. No matter how hard I tried to look for light, there was nothing. My past was shrouded in darkness. I had no memory of anything, anyone. Even my own name was lost to me. "Nothing," I whispered, feeling terrible for my sister. I could tell that she was close to breaking down. I didn't mean to upset her. I just wanted to know who I was. When can I go home?" I asked. "Oh, the doctor will be here soon. He'll check you out. We can go home then." I watched as Lily got up from the bed and hurried over to the nurse's station to talk to a passing nurse. As soon as she was out of earshot, I turned my attention back to the window. That's when I saw him. A man with short, messy black hair and stormy gray eyes. He was leaning against the wall across the street, his arms crossed over his chest. He was watching me, and he wasn't alone. Two other men stood beside him, equally as imposing as he was. Who were they? Was I in trouble? Did they have something to do with the accident that put me in the hospital? So many questions ran through my mind that I had no answers. Then I heard footsteps approaching my bed. I turned to see the doctor, a tall, thin man with slicked back gray hair. "Ah, good, you're awake." "I was hoping I wouldn't have to wait much longer," he said, pulling up a chair next to my bed. "Where am I?" I asked. "Why am I here?" "You were in an accident. You were found lying on the side of the road, bleeding profusely. Someone called 911, but they didn't stick around to see if you would make it. That was 2 weeks ago today." Who was that?" "That's what we'd like to know," he said. "We think it may have been the person responsible for the hit and run, but we're not sure yet." "Unsure," I echoed, knowing he couldn't see the expression on my face. Was I driving the car? Don't get your hopes up. We're still running tests to determine exactly what happened to you. If you do remember anything, please tell us. It will help us solve this case." With that, he got up from the bed and left the room. Now I was really scared. Could I have killed someone? After all, I remembered nothing. I had no idea who I was, let alone what I'd been capable of. I needed to get out of the hospital, away from the prying eyes of the police. I slipped out of bed and shuffled over to the door. When I opened it, I found myself in a long, sterile hallway. At the end of it, double doors stood open, offering an escape route. I walked toward them, hoping they would lead me to freedom. But as I reached out to open them, a familiar voice stopped me in my tracks. "Going somewhere, sister?" I spun around to see Lily standing in the doorway. Her eyes were wide with worry. "Lily, I want to go home," I stammered. "You can't leave the hospital. The doctor will be here soon, and he told us to keep you here until he gets back. But I don't even know who I am." How can I stay here if I don't know who I am? What's the point? She looked down at her feet, tears streaming down her face. I don't know what to do. Please don't leave me, please. I felt a pang of sympathy for her, but I couldn't stay in that hospital another minute. I pushed past her and headed toward the elevator. You're not going anywhere, she said, blocking my path. Yes, I am, I replied, pushing her aside and stepping into the elevator. I pressed the button for the ground floor and waited for the doors to close. Just as they began to glide shut, Lily's hand shot out to stop them. Please, please don't go. You're all I have. Her words struck a chord with me, but I couldn't stay. Not knowing who I was, what I was capable of, it was too much for me to bear. I had to get away before I hurt someone else. The doors opened and I stepped out onto the bustling sidewalk. Cars honked and people hurried by. I was overwhelmed by the sights and sounds of the city. I needed to get out of there. I started walking, not knowing where I was going. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. I walked for hours, it seemed, until I came across a park. I sat down on a bench under the shade of a large tree and closed my eyes. That's when it hit me. A flash of lightning illuminated my mind, and I saw it all. I saw the twisted metal of a car, a pair of headlights, a scream. Then everything went black. I gasped and fell back against the tree. It all came rushing back to me now. I remembered who I was, what I had done. I was the villain in my own story. I was the one who had caused the accident. I had hit that person, that family with my car. I had taken their lives, leaving their loved ones to pick up the pieces. I was a killer. As the realization of what I had done washed over me, I broke down and sobbed. People stared at me as I cried, but I didn't care. Let them stare, let them whisper. I had done something terrible, something unforgivable, and now I had to live with the consequences. With a shaky hand, I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Hello, I need to turn myself in, I said, my voice trembling. I know what I did. I was in an accident. I hit someone, please. The operator gave me the location and I thanked her. Then I hung up the phone and waited for the police to arrive. When they did, I didn't resist. I knew what I had done and I knew that I deserved punishment. As they led me away in handcuffs, I looked back at the bench where I had sat just moments before. The same park bench where I had remembered everything. The same bench where I had realized that I was the villain in my own story. The only difference between then and now was that I knew who I was. I knew what I had done, and now I was ready to pay the price. I was ready to face the consequences of my actions. I was ready to face justice.